What's up, everybody? Thanks for stopping by the Broskiedoodles Podcast. Today we have a fun-filled, packed episode for you, so stay tuned. Check it out. Let me know what you think in the comments below.
All right, guys. So, welcome to another episode of the Broskiedoodles. Today we got a few topics that are gonna be interesting, and hope you like them. How are you, Stevie D, over there in Miami? I see the palm trees in the back, dog. How you doing, dog?
Just a slight flex on them. Just here. No, it's a beautiful day, and I just wanted to set it up outside. I want to see what everybody thinks. If you like this setup, I'll stay out here. If not, I can go inside to my nice. Yeah, I can get fucking go back into my nice cold AC. But I got my fan here, so.
Is it hot right now over there?
What's it at right now? I think it's like.
Well, how you feel?
Well, I feel hot as shit. No, but I'm terrible. I always sweat. Right now we're talking about 85 degrees.
Us fatties always be sweating,
bro. Yeah, I mean, I use it as hair gel. I'll just like wipe and then keep. You know what I mean? Just throw it back in.
It works.
I'm a sustainable person. I'm like almost vegan, but not.
Dude, so it's cool that we actually wanted to talk about streaming platforms today. Like Netflix, Hulu, Amazon Prime, all of them, HBO. And we actually watched a movie recently that we both wanted to talk about, which is The Platform. It's a Spanish movie made by Netflix, and it's called El Hoyo in Spanish, like the hole, and then The Platform in English.
Oh, is that what that means?
Yeah, to start off, bro, it's always like this translation bullshit. It's like, yo, you couldn't call it the hole? Like, why you have to do...
El hueco? I mean, or la plataforma? I mean, like something real more sensible, right?
Well, I mean, if the movie's called The Hole, then translate it to The Hole. Don't translate it to The Platform, because the movie's not called La Plataforma.
Oh,
but
I see.
Whatever. That's something that always happens when you have translations from English to Spanish. They just purposely fuck it up. But we watched that movie, and I wanted to talk to you about that movie in just a minute. But before we get to that, I wanted to talk about the beginning of all this revolution that we have with the streaming platforms, right? Because I remember back in the day, I used to go to like Winn-Dixie. Mm-hmm. Back in the day when we still had Blockbuster, Hollywood Videos, and other stores that rented out DVDs and shit. Dude. And when you would go to Winn-Dixie or like any supermarket, they will have these little boxes, and you would put in like money, and I think it was like $1 a day, and then you took it home and you return it there, which was called Redbox. And then Netflix started doing something similar, but sending you the movies to your house. And do you remember that? That was like at the start of the like 2005, something like that.
So it's actually funny. I was looking this up because I was curious. So Netflix itself was started in 1997, which is crazy to me because I'm like, what? Like we were still on VHS.
What were they doing there?
Yeah, we were still on VHS back then. I mean, and they were ahead of their times. There's this guy named Reed Hastings and Mark Randolph. Of course, in California, with all those smart techie people live, and these guys were working for some company that was being acquired by some other company, and they're driving on their way to the office, wherever it is, and they're talking about, I guess, movies, right? And hey, what are you watching? Oh, I'm watching this, and then they're talking about how people should be receiving movies, and that was back in the day of VHS. And then they already knew about DVD. They were in that tech world, and it was, that's how that all started, man. It was absolutely crazy, absolutely crazy.
And they started. I mean, once things got in running, they started sending these DVDs. And I remember my uncle had this service, and you would put. It was funny because they didn't have everything available all the time, which is crazy to think about that now with the streaming platforms, but. So you need to put, like, for example, they will send you 3 DVDs at a time, and then you need to put on a list 6 DVDs that you would like to have. And then they will choose, like, oh, we got these 3 available, they send them to you, right? And I'll be honest with you, when that shit was going on, I think the culture wasn't yet comfortable with doing things online. Like, I remember when that came out, I was like, I prefer to go to Blockbuster and just do the thing physically there. And it's funny how that shifted, right, in a relatively short time. But do you remember that feeling too, like, or were you the one that actually embraced Netflix at the beginning and was and liked that format that they had?
So I remember the Blockbuster game days, and that's pretty much all I would go Blockbuster for, was just for games. So yeah, it felt good to like say, hey, yo, can I go get a ride? Like, there was so much more that needed to go down for you to be able to watch potentially great, potentially more than likely shitty content. And when everything came out, I was thinking to myself, you know, I didn't want to subscribe to the DVDs in the mail. I think I did it once or twice, and but I just kept going to Blockbuster. Then Redbox came out, and that changed, because that was just right around the corner. You could hop on your bike and go to the next, you know, Publix or Winn-Dixie or
right.
You know, wherever you are, Kroger's.
At the time, I did use that one too, and it seemed like at the time it was a better model.
It was more convenient, but what ended up happening once everybody started adapting it, nobody can get the game they wanted or the movie they wanted, or the disc little envelope was in there, and then sometimes like the disc itself would be cracked or scratched or not even in there.
So because you had no personnel, you're sort of limited. Yeah, and also, I mean, let's be clear, this whole thing didn't end up blowing up sooner because the internet speed wasn't there yet. I think you could probably see on a graph that the growth of Netflix came along when everyone had high-speed internet, you know, like across the United States, like no dial-up anymore, and everyone just had good internet. And I think that allowed also Netflix to be able to have all this content and be able to have it in servers and distribute it to everyone. But one thing that you said, like all the effort that it took to go to the Blockbuster and choose the game or the movie, don't you think? And I know that in a way what we have now is progress, and I'm never against progress, but just in a curious way, don't you think that in those days that ritual of going to the Blockbuster with your homies to get the game, or even like I remember now once like inviting a girl, like, oh, let's watch a movie, right? Like nowadays you got like, hey, let's Netflix and chill, right? And it's very well known. Back in the day you had to be a gentleman about things, right? You had to do things in a different form. So it was like, yeah, we could watch a movie in your house, and then we'll go to the Blockbuster, and you would rent the movie, and you would go through the aisles, and it's like, oh, what category? Which to me today seems like kind of stupid to do. Like you want it so much quicker. You categorize things differently. But don't you think that there was like this ritual to it, and then you're getting to the cashier and you get the movie popcorn, the movie butter popcorn, you know?
It almost felt like you were heading to the movies. Like, you know, you'd actually walk in. There's no ticket, but you'd be like, oh, yeah, my Blockbuster card. Oh, I'm here, you know. And you'd walk in, and then you could tell a lot about a person depending on the aisle they go down, right? If they're going down like the weirdos, you know what I mean? Or like the animes. Nothing against it, but, you know, I'm not trying to anime and chill. I'm trying to...
Right, you might want to like smile to the dude so he doesn't kill you whenever he, you know, goes off and... shoots off a school.
Dude. Yeah. Oh, you mean like the girl to the guy? Is that what you're...
No, I'm saying like the guy on the anime aisle. I'm saying, you know, nothing against him, but, you know, just wave and don't really get close to him, you know. But you want to wave and be friendly in case he goes crazy.
Right.
This joke just went too long. It's not funny anymore. But but yeah, it's true. Like you could tell a lot about the people about, you know, like where they were in the aisle. And it's funny because a lot of times you will see like girls going to like the romantic comedies.
Yeah.
And the boyfriend next to her like, yeah, I just want to fucking watch, you know.
Or I don't really care what you watch. I'm still gonna boink you. It just felt that way, and it was times were simpler back then.
Yeah, Steve, but some people did enjoy a nice flick. Now, moving forward, that sort of ended. I remember when, like, probably in 2000 and I would say maybe 2006 or 7, you used to go to like Hollywood Video, which was like Blockbuster. And they would have like crazy deals, like $1 a rental, because rentals were expensive. They were like $5-6 for a rental.
Right.
And that shit, like, that was pretty expensive. And then it was a shitty ass movie, right?
Yeah.
Couldn't even see a trailer, nothing. So, and then eventually it got to a point where, like, there were so many other options now. It didn't get to the point of streaming just yet, but there were so many options that they were just giving it away. And then eventually it died. And then it was like, yo, this is crazy. We saw that that system died. And then...
It's funny, I have actually some numbers up here, and just to kind of keep that thought, don't go nowhere. But in 2001... I'm sorry, before that, going to the Blockbuster and how Netflix was started, back in 97, they were the first to introduce the monthly subscription concept, with the mailing of the DVDs, unlimited rentals, no late fees, extra, whatever. They were also the first ones to make the world's first online DVD store. And they gave Blockbuster the opportunity to buy them for $50 million.
Damn.
They were, I mean, today that's nothing. I mean, $50 million, you would have had Netflix in your pocket.
Talk about like a decision that will haunt you for the rest of your life.
Oh my God. I mean, but such is life, right? And you got, they were offering it to Blockbuster to be not even be called Netflix anymore, to be called Blockbuster.com, and because they were losing money like on the shipping and the USPS and all of the overhead that took in those logistical moves, right? And then 2001 came, right? We had 9/11 around that time. We had the .com bubble, and DVD players were not a thing in that time, but they were coming. And of course, 2001 came along. It was the #1 Christmas gift in America and in the world. It's in all the affluent countries. That is exactly when Netflix took a turn, because that they were a DVD subscription service, and everybody had a DVD player in their house.
Okay.
And that's what brings us to today. So there's a little history for you. Sorry,
but it was it's pretty cute. I'm pretty sure people are gonna enjoy it, and
if they know, if they didn't know, now they know.
Steve really puts time into this shit. People might think it's just a bunch of little retarded motherfuckers that have an accent, but no, we actually do investigate. But
smart retards with an accent.
Yeah, it's funny that you say that, because they started with the DVD, but it didn't even take 10 years for them to drop the DVDs and go into the streaming. And the thing that really expanded them, and that's when they really started making money, is when they started making their own production, like their own Netflix originals. And that started in 2012 when they started producing House of Cards. And in 2013, House of Cards releases as a debut series of Netflix. I haven't watched it, but I understand it's a really good movie series,
bro.
I mean, people might talk shit about the guy because of the things that he did, but I mean, apparently he killed it. I mean, he killed that series, from what I understand. Like, he killed it in a good way. Like, he fucking destroyed how good he was.
Yeah, bro. I that was literally my favorite. And you know what? It's actually funny. That was when I hopped onto Netflix. I think I had Netflix, like I was a subscriber, or like my mom or family at that time, and I started watching the show, and I was like, that's it, this is my show. Oh my God, Kevin Spacey killed it. If you don't know, watch it, please binge it. And actually, Orange Is the New Black was the most watched Netflix original content. These guys are so I mean, at the time, Stranger Things. Yeah, at the time. Well, actually, you know what? Don't quote me on it, but it's definitely one of the top. I think Orange Is the New Black was. It was actually. It went through 4 seasons, and then it was renewed for like another 3.
Well, I will quote you on it, because we got millions of people listening, and we ain't talking.
Please call me out on it.
So I will quote you on that shit. So no, but it's funny, because before Netflix had the platform, like, they got the platform, right? And then they said, all right, people don't need to go to a production company to make a movie. They could simply, like, we already have the platform where people come to see movies. So now let's produce our own movies. And then there comes a challenge, because even though that's a great idea, because if you're able to produce your own movies and your own shows, then you pretty much... You got the product, and you got the materials to make the product. Like, you got the whole chain of production, right? However, if you don't make a good product, then people are gonna know like, oh no, that's shit. And I think even though Netflix has had times where it slips, I think in general they've been able to keep good original content. Taking risks. Sometimes you can see there's movies that are a bit like I have an agenda politically because of the people that produced it, but I think they go both ways in the political spectrum. So I think they're smart about it. And now pretty much Netflix is all original content. It's not that much of people really go for the original content. And this is where I come in with a very serious topic about the massive amounts of series and shows that are coming out today. Like, you were talking about House of Cards, how good it was, right? I haven't watched it, but I trust your opinion on shows. And we both watched Breaking Bad, which was really good, right? And those were sort of like the OGs, right? Of this whole movement of series, right? Like as an actual mode of entertainment at the same level of movies. Because before, in the Friends days, people didn't really watch series, but now with this ones, it's a different world, right? But don't you think nowadays series aren't as good anymore? Like they're extending the plot. Like they have a good premise, but then they don't know where to take it, so they just extend it to keep making seasons and keep people hooked on some shit that at the end doesn't really turn out to be that good.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot to be said about viewership, and when you have enough people watching, and you just make it good enough, or you put a high paid actor that everybody knows in that series, people are gonna watch it. One example of that, although you know what, I don't want to say it's a bad series, but like Al Pacino, right, did his first series on Prime Video called Hunters, and the series has an end to it. I mean, I guess you can spin it off and go more. But
is that the one where they hunt Nazis?
Yeah, America.
Okay,
yeah,
I haven't seen it, but yeah, go on.
It's good. I just wouldn't say it's like House of Cards or Breaking Bad status, but it is good. Short enough to binge in 2 days, I would know. Okay. And so we when it comes to plots, I mean, yeah, sometimes it's just content. Put it out there. It doesn't really matter what. But obviously, they did a good job. I think Prime Video is doing a decent job. Did an awesome job with Jack Ryan, John Krasinski. Shout out to him. Made a major role change when he came from Office as a goofy guy to Jack Ryan. I mean, that's sick. And also
but Jack Ryan, I know it sounds fucked up. It's funny because the last season was about Venezuela, so I watched it just to kind of like.
Oh, you have some like some ties to that.
Yeah.
You feel some type of way. What happened? What's your thoughts?
I know it sounds unfair to the guy, but the fact that he was in the office, and I know that this shouldn't tie him up to characters, but he just, to me, and this is just my opinion, he does not fit the James Bond fucking the Bourne Identity style character to me. Like I found it to be like, I don't know, it was a bit cringy to see him in like this tough James Bond style movie, and I don't think it fit him, but I think he's very successful, so maybe it's just my opinion, but that's the way I felt about it.
Yeah. We'll talk offline more. I want to get your opinion on some of the other stuff he's done, but he's definitely got my attention. He's doing good stuff.
Oh, he's a really good actor. I love him on the Office.
But back to the platforms.
Yeah, back to the platform. So, we could fairly say that at the moment Netflix is the leader of these platforms, right? But you got Hulu, you got Amazon Prime, you got HBO,
Disney Plus.
You got Disney Plus that just came out.
Apple TV just came out. You can see the trend is everybody's coming
and
in.
And YouTube is also having like a premium service where they have their own production. Yeah. So like one thing I would say, like HBO, the platform is not really good in my opinion. I think the platform is clunky. It's not user friendly. It doesn't really like take your tastes and put like a playlist for you, and to search for things is actually complicated sometimes because it doesn't recognize keywords and things like that if it's in another language, for example. But they have good content. I don't watch a lot of HBO, but there's every once in a while 1 or 2 series that I watch from there that I really like Westworld was all right. It was a really good premise, but I think, like we're saying, like the fact that they try to extend it so much loses the good that it could have been. And I think that happened with Westworld as well. But for example, so you got HBO, and then you got Amazon Prime, which is trying. They're really trying. I understand they're putting now a bit of money. They got South Park, they got Workaholics, and they got this Hunters series. They had the Gods series, American Gods. So they're trying
Marvelous
as well.
Miss Maisel. Actually, they got some good stuff, but they're in the beginning stages, and they're actually partnering. The partnering aspect of it is going to be. Actually, we can probably transition into the future. What do you think is going? Because what I'm seeing, the trend is that everybody is partnering with networks, right? Amazon Prime, when you go through their interface, you can see, oh, do you want to watch this show? Oh yeah, it's on Showtime. Just buy the season from us or subscribe through them, and you can view it on our Prime Video platform. What do you think about stuff like that? I mean, where do you think?
Oh, so I didn't even know that was happening. So Amazon, besides the content that they have and create, they do partnerships with like channels so that those channels can stream through them.
Through them, yeah.
Okay,
Apple TV started doing it too.
That's smart, because there's a lot of channels that don't have the setup for the platform. And Amazon, something they're good at is being the middleman. So yeah, they're gonna be the middleman. So I think Amazon is starting out, but I think they have a good future. I know very little about Hulu. Do you know anything about Hulu?
Dude, all I know is Hulu's for sports. That's all I see on the on the stuff. But it is good for TV shows. And people were always telling me that they were watching, I think Office or Parks and Recs, one of those funny ones, like or ongoing shows, Modern Family, things like that you'd be able to stream as they came out, right? So your subscription would be being able to have on-demand episodes as they were released, which is different.
But what would you be subscribing to the actual show or the channel?
You would be subscribing to Hulu. Hulu's subscription included pay on, or as they were released. It was including the shows. So Modern Family.
So they were faster. They were coming out faster.
Right. And the episode would air on Thursday. You'd be able to watch it Friday morning. It's that kind of thing.
So what they offered that was different is that they had the speed of getting the shows from TV and having them on their platform quicker than anyone else.
Yeah, exactly. And sports. You can now watch TV through Hulu. So live games, even pay-per-view events and things like that.
This is important because I believe that sports is the last thing that's going to make this whole thing sort of crumble down, and cable television is going to be pretty much dead. Because entertainment, let's be clear, entertainment is dead on TV. Even like the night shows like Jimmy Fallon and all that, all they do is give clips to YouTube, and then YouTube is the one that really gets the views. Nobody sees that shit on TV anymore. The audience is dying, but they still have you tied up, a lot of it for the sports. I don't know how it works in the US, and maybe you can give me a bit of insight on it, but here in Spain, that football or soccer is very big, right? And I didn't even know how big it was until I got here, in the sense that for you to watch the league, you have to get some pretty expensive cable packages that include a bunch of channels that you're not gonna watch, and you're just paying it for the football. But now the leagues are coming to the point where they're actually willing to negotiate with platforms like Hulu, for example. Here in Spain, Europe, and in Great Britain, they have a lot of those platforms growing now, where they'll be able to get the rights, and they're already doing it with certain leagues. They get the rights of the league, and eventually they're going to have the platform with the sports very soon, if it's not already happening. And I think that's the last straw for cable television. And I think that the good side of it is that you're going to be able to cater your subscriptions and whatever you enjoy to what you like. Instead of getting a package that's fit for everyone, you make your own package. Like, okay, I'm going to get Hulu for the sports, I'm going to get HBO because of this, and then I'm going to get Netflix because of this. And then you have your little package where you pay $30-$40 a month.
Right.
And I think at the end, it's sort of like going back to the cable model where you pay a package for a few of them, but I think it's gonna be more personalized to your likes. So I think it's a good thing.
What's up, everybody? Thanks for stopping by the Broskiedoodles Podcast. Today we have a fun-filled, packed episode for you, so stay tuned, check it out. Let me know what you think in the comments below.
Yeah, what do I think about basically the future of cable television? I think that over here in the US, there are companies, like Bios, Comcast, that they have to adapt. They provide cable television to their viewers in different territories, right? And these people, if they don't want these older generations, once they fade out, for their entire business model to collapse, they're going to need to be able to provide a box that allows us to purchase subscriptions through their interface, right? Like a Roku would, right? So, and they're gonna have to basically give it away for free. Now I go over to Xfinity's brick and mortar store, and they're selling cellular service, and they want to sell me a phone and a cell phone plan. Like, I can't speak to their future, but what I can talk about video platforming is if they want to stay alive, they're probably gonna need to be able to say, okay, download the HBO Go app. Oh, okay, sign up for HBO Go and be able to stream it on here. And then their home remote control will, be able to flip either to live television or go on to YouTube. I mean, it's already kind of there. But
yeah, they have to combine what they do with the digital world, because otherwise they're gonna die.
Yeah, they're gonna die.
And in a way, I kind of, because we're like small creators, like I would like for like the small people to start growing and for these big like companies to not really be relevant anymore. Because at the end of the day, when you do content that's more, directed to small masses, right, to like a niche, like you don't have anyone to answer to, you can do things how you want to do it. But if like CBS or like a big network is producing something for you, you gotta run shit by them, right? So
right.
I would hope that the individual creators is what sort of ends up happening. And sort of like in Netflix, where you're able to have like I'm pretty sure there's a lot of movies in Netflix where independent creators that probably couldn't have gotten a movie to like a theater.
That's how they started. Actually, Netflix started with independent films. They made films. I was looking. There's like Sherry Baby or Born into a Brothel.
But when you say independent films, do you mean like they purchase independent films from people that made them, not the Netflix originals, right?
Correct. Yeah. I mean, back then Netflix originals
wasn't a thing.
Wasn't a thing. But before they started having good content, they were putting these Sundance films and these indie films onto their platform.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes sense. So I am correct in saying that Netflix provides a platform so that smaller people can sort of make it there. So I guess it benefits everyone. And then now that there's competition, it makes it even better, because before Netflix was the only one. Like 5 years ago, Netflix was the only one that really had power in the market. But now you got a lot of competition, and that makes it so that everybody gotta be on their game, I mean,
and now Disney Plus, like you have like Disney, who used to be on Netflix and used to be on certain platforms, and now they just pulled everything and said, if you want Disney content, you got to get Disney Plus, and so that's taking money, that's taking viewership from Netflix.
Yeah.
There are people who when Friends got taken off of Netflix, I mean Friends the series, when it was on Netflix, it was they must have, their subscriber count went up, but now since it's gone, I think it's on HBO or somebody, Showtime, they bought it. Guess whose viewership is going up now? And I wouldn't be surprised if their interface stops being so clunky, because now they got a little bit of extra cash sitting. But
right,
who knows?
Now, what do you think of the concept of streaming? And this is going to tie into another topic that I wanted to talk to you about, and we can sort of mix it in because it's very similar, and it's a music streaming business, right? With Spotify, and again, you have a few platforms that control it, and then you sort of have like Spotify being the main one, with iTunes, I would assume. I don't really listen to iTunes music, but I think that will be the second in charge, I guess, in the music field. But the concept of streaming is very interesting to me, because in the past, I remember my dad and uncle, and even myself, because we were old enough where like we still had, DVDs and CDs and shit like that.
Right.
But like there will be collections and you will own these things, right? And what does it really mean that you own it? It meant that you have this and you can play it whenever you want, right?
Right.
And and it had this like nostalgia to it, because it had a physical thing, which is lost now, right? You had the physical thing, and you had people like owning vinyls or owning DVDs, Blu-rays, and there was like, you had ownership of this content, right? Do you think that, because obviously streaming it a lot cheaper, right? Pay $10 a month,
but it ain't.
You listen to all the music that you want instead of paying like $10 for an album. Let's say that was like an average price. You think that it's better to just stream it and pay less, or do you think there's something important about owning it, or if streaming is as good as owning it because you can listen to it whenever you want? Like, how do you see that transition from owning content to now we stream it and it's never ours, it's a subscription? What do you think of that transition? Dude,
I mean, yeah, I in the last like 2 years started getting into vinyl, and I went stir crazy one year. I just went to like
fucking hipster.
Yeah. This is back when I had the curly mustache and the whole thing. So I mean, but anyways, yeah, there is something about owning it, right? I was actually having this conversation with my sister when I was talking about, what's the difference? She was wanting to know if I watch reruns, like, oh, did you ever see the episode of this or that? And I'm like, you know what? Like I'm the type of person who likes to hear new music. I mean, there are certain classics, like, and again, I only felt like I dove into that once I got into vinyl, but what really got my attention was like the fact that I don't really listen or watch old TV shows or anything like that. I watch it once and that's it. I might go back, like Dexter was just brought back. Or
not even with movies?
Even with movies, man. I mean, very rarely. Like they would have to be classic nostalgia movies, like movies that just give that
so you stay in the present.
Yeah, I always stay in the present, and or I'm looking for what's in the future. Like my music is either, I don't even know a lot of the artists in my playlist, right? Like a lot of artists are now coming out, so they don't have a lot of fame. They came out with one good song, it made it to my playlist. I might go searching under that artist, and like the rest of their music's booty. So I'm like, no, like but they had that good song, and so, but on to the next one, right? I love this song, make it start radio, and the fact that a streaming platform gives me that option to hit others like it, that is worth the $5, $6, $7, $10, $15 a month that I'm paying. To me.
So for you, it's not even having a repertoire of classics at your fingertips. It's actually being able to have
the
newest shit all the time.
Yeah.
Would you consider yourself to be like a music scout in this like digital jungle?
Yeah. I mean, you go to my playlist and you'll hear stuff that you ain't never heard before. I'm not like saying
you
that
say
like
you're
I'm
a
cool.
Connoisseur, a curator of amazing sounds.
Yeah.
Right.
Amazing to me. I thought so much that one time I applied to Spotify, but they never got back to me. I don't know what happened there.
All right.
Yeah, it must have got lost.
Well, now you can the irony, you can listen now on Spotify as well to the Broskiedoodles.
No,
if you're down
to
listen to this in audio instead of looking at our fat faces. So, I mean, but all that you're saying, because you went on a little rant there, what I'm trying to get at is, do you prefer it that way then? Like, what you're trying to tell me is that the fact that you like to know what's new, you like to be in the present, you don't really give a fuck about the past, no Tupac songs, like, get the fuck out of here, I want to know the present. You're down with the new system that we have in place now, and you actually find it that is more productive and more beneficial to you to have this streaming platform rather than the old system where you own these things. Like, to you, it makes sense. You like it.
If I loved something so much, I would just buy the season, right? I was looking, I think me and you were talking on the phone, and I was thinking, hey, you know, I can buy the whole season of, what were we talking about? I could buy the whole season for like $24.99.
Oh yeah, Workaholics.
Yeah. I think it was that, and I was like, all right, you know, if it ever leaves this streaming platform and goes to another that I don't own, like if I really, really, really love the show, I would buy the season.
Yeah.
You know.
Now this is where I come in. I found myself to be like a little hybrid, but I think you what you're saying there also makes it so that you also are a bit of a hybrid. Like the way that I like to look at it is, I do like how things work now. It's a lot easier, not only to listen to music, but for new artists to go into Spotify. Like the reason why you're able to listen to so many new things is because it's easier now to go into the platform. It's not like this gatekeepers where you have to go to Universal or Sony, right?
Right.
So like I myself, you know, I'm an artist. I make music. I have, you know, millions and millions of records sold. Probably heard of me, Kiko Cervantes. I've played everywhere in the world, and I'm on Spotify, and it wasn't hard to get on Spotify, right? So I think the accessibility to creators, not only in Spotify but in YouTube and everything, makes it so that a more organic market where there's like food for everybody. Even the little fish can have their own little niche market and grow through there. So I do like it that sense. But you are right that, let's say you like The Office or you like some other show, right? It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. It's fucking really hard to find that show, and then it comes out on one platform and then they take it off. Well, in that case, like, fuck it, I'm gonna spend $50 and get the seasons, and I'm gonna own that shit because then I can see it whenever I want. So that's something I do. Like movies that I really, really like, I have them like not in physical but digital in my hard drive, and that way I can.
And that's another thing too. If you want to talk about,
I've bought them in the past and I just keep collecting them.
Want to talk about platforms, you know, we also got to talk about like interface. For me, I have you were saying that you didn't know if iTunes was like still a thing. That's pretty much the only thing I use iTunes for, because my
for what?
to purchase like these
songs that you want to keep,
songs, video files, like my files, right? And I use iTunes because everything in my house is Apple.
iTunes.
Yeah. Well, yeah, Apple. So
so let me get this straight. With iTunes, you're able to like buy series, shows, albums, songs, comedy shit, and then it all stays within your account in digital form, and you own it for forever type shit.
And if your hard drive crashes, whatever, you can always get the download from it because it's in your account. So it's super convenient.
The other day you were asking about what Steam was I use for gaming.
Yeah.
It's exactly that, but for games. So like I have like over 200 games in my collection, but those games are in the digital. So I reboot my computer, I download them again. They're always there. I can go to a friend's house and play there, you know, with my account. So it's always there. So okay, so that's actually a good way. I think that both have a way in the market to grow, because I also like the streaming stuff for the more, you know, right now things. Like I want to have this now, I want to listen to it. It's convenient. You can listen to it while you're in the vehicles, while you're running. You have your Spotify there, you got playlists. It's convenient, it's easy, it's practical. And then you can also buy things that you want to keep forever, because you don't know if Spotify is going to exist forever. So you buy the things that you want to keep. All right.
Yeah. You want to hear something crazy? Can I interject 1 second? Do you want to know what I found out? Where at least, you know, Netflix was the platform that started the streaming, right?
Right.
And naturally, they are always going to be the front runners for a lot of things, unless somebody else wants to get in there, right? Netflix doesn't seem to be afraid. They spent like, what was it? Who was on the Grand Tour? That's what it was. On the Grand Tour, they gave them $4.2 million an episode. That's 3 times what Ron, Jeremy, and
what show is this?
The Grand Tour. You know Top Gear? You ever watch Top Gear?
Oh
The
yeah,
Brits?
okay.
They
gave him $4 million for the last show.
Yeah. Oh,
for
you
each.
know, I take that back. This is all Amazon Prime. This is all Amazon Prime. But yeah,
Okay.
I guess what I'm saying
I
is
mean, but it's still relevant. It's still relevant.
still relevant. Prime
Because
Video.
these numbers really tell you how Amazon is fucking putting the money in to be
are
the
not
best.
scared, bro. They are not scared. They will be among. It will be Netflix.
Yeah,
and if Netflix
I really
doesn't stay
see
on their
them
game, it's
coming
Prime.
through, bro, because they're spending the money.
They're spending $4.2 million on per episode.
Getting
for
South
the-
Park is not cheap.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And so, anyways, but what Netflix is doing, then, and I guess this is where I'm going with, is that Netflix is trying to keep it moving, right? They're trying to be the next thing. Google started this thing for gaming, and I didn't bring it up in our last podcast, called Stravia. Stravia is basically a platform where you can go to a website or watch, let's say, Assassin's Creed. This is how they sold me. That you can go and go to YouTube and type in Assassin's Creed, watch the trailer, watch people playing, and you can just say, play game. And then you have a controller that's connected to your computer. You play the game like it's through a console on your computer. That is what Netflix is trying to do. They're using a company called Telltale, or they were Telltale Games. And basically, they wanted to make a Minecraft game. They wanted you to be able to go on Netflix through a computer or through your TV with the remote, with their simple little remote or whatever, and play games through your TV without a console. Or it is the console, but it
like
is
the
same.
The console is on a server compound. Yeah, this is happening also. Like all the big ones, Microsoft, Nvidia, which makes graphics card, they're all trying to get the platform going. But you know what's the bottleneck at the moment? And we're gonna be able to pass this. Same shit that happened before Netflix became what it was. The internet wasn't fast enough for you to be able to stream this content. It wasn't fast enough. Once it became fast enough, fucking Blockbuster and DVDs and everything just died because the digital era came. Now with gaming, what is the issue? Like I'm a gamer, so I have a really good PC for gaming, but I have good PC if you want to play like demanding games. Like you need to have a $2,000 PC if you want to play like really nice games, right? But the way that they want to do it is you're gonna have these PCs server room, right? In this big compound with a bunch of computers, and you're actually gonna be playing with a computer that's in that place, but it's gonna be streaming the video to you. At the moment, I've tried it. Like I go to my shitty laptop, I can remotely play games on my good computer through my laptop, but there's still like a delay, and there's still I just think that the 5G, the faster internet, that's just gonna kill it. Like that's what's gonna make it.
Yeah.
You need that faster internet, but that's gonna happen very soon, and that's gonna be interesting because then people are gonna be able to play games at really high resolutions and really good graphics without even having a PC or a console. They're gonna be paying a subscription, and the console is gonna be in some warehouse in fucking Oklahoma.
It's gonna be crazy. It's gonna be absolutely nuts. I'm excited for it though. Really am. I hope they can get it together sooner than later. You know.
I really do think that going to good places, and I think that each time the small creators have more power. I think that is great. Like put it like this. Imagine an era, and we're already in this era, but where this becomes mainstream. Have creators like you and me, right? And you have people, for example, that collaborate to 10 creators that watch a month. Those 10 creators are pretty much all the content they watch because content that they produce for them to like be entertained. And you know, they range from news, sports, whatever the interests are. And the person collaborates with $5 a month on each creator. That's $50 a month. Isn't that like a cable package? I mean, even cheaper. Like I'm pretty sure cable packages were like $100 now. But let's say you're paying $50 a month for your content. Yeah. Like just saying as an example, right? Like I like that type of model. The model where you as a person can support someone that is not big, but you really enjoy the content. Like that happens to me. There's podcasts that I listen to, and there's creators that I watch that I support, maybe through the brands that they sell, because I actually do watch that, and it's the entertainment that I see. And I think that more and more, that's gonna make it so that people can have more personalized entertainment. They're gonna have entertainment that's so personalized that it's gonna meet all the little needs that they have and weird niches that they're interested in. So I think it's a good direction.
No, I think so too. I hope that they can get the 5G up and running, or if they can get fiber to everyone. I mean, it sounds like such a first world problem, but you know, if that does happen, there's going to be a lot more room for small people to get in it. You know, you can develop now. People are super smart. You were talking about it in the last podcast where people are super smart and they're developing these games that used to take teams. Now you could just do it with one person, and if you can host, if this one person can just host everything on a server for everyone else, you know, that's going to open up a lot more, you know, creativity in the world, I think. So I'm excited for it, man. I think this is a new era.
And I think cutting the middleman is the most important part of this whole process, because I'm gonna give you an example. It's gonna be a weird example, but in Venezuela, when I lived there was this chain, right, like a food chain,
mm-hmm.
but instead of burgers like McDonald's, it was cachapas, right? Do you know what a cachapa is?
I love fucking cachapas, bro. They're
okay, so you know what cachapas are, because you know the Venezuelan culture. But
yeah.
Cachapa, for people that don't know what it is, imagine it like a South American pancake, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like that's pretty much what it is. It's a corn-based tortilla. It's not a tortilla, but it's sort of like that shape.
Yeah, it's a corn. It's a corn pancake, I think. But
yes, it's a corn pancake, right? Would you say that's the best way to describe
best
it? Right.
Way. But what's in it? Tell them.
Well, the basics is butter and Venezuelan white cheese, right? But if you want like the power on it, they put like fried pork. They put shredded meat. I mean, you can go wherever. There's never a wrong way. But you know, they're delicious, right? Yeah. Cachapas are delicious. So in Venezuela, in the city that I lived in, Valencia, there was a chain, and this chain, bro, it was called Cachapas Chaday. That was their name, right?
What does Chaday mean? Something?
Like, I'm guessing his last name or the name of his girlfriend. I don't know. But he had many around the city, right?
All right.
And dude, they were, I wouldn't say they were the best. They were like McDonald's quality. We're like, it's not the best, but you know what you're gonna get. But it was super cheap. And I was just like, how this guy can sell, he would sell the cachapas with the cheese and then the chorizo or the fried pork, you know, all that shit. Yeah, all this stuff was to kill you, right? Like cholesterol, you know, all that. Yeah. But it was delicious, right?
Oh my God.
So dude, this guy had a farm, right? He had a farm where he grew the porks that he killed. Sell the chorizo and to sell the fried pork. He had the farms for the corn that he used to make the cachapas.
Whoa.
Right? He owned all. So pretty much this guy owned the whole production chain, right? Now, what happens when you own the whole production chain? When you don't have to buy from a distributor, where you are the guy that pays and you give yourself the money back. Like you pay yourself and you give the change back yourself. Like you have the whole thing controlled by yourself, right?
Yeah.
So what that makes is, if you're able to do it all on your own, all within your own system, then it's more efficient and you're able to sell the product cheaper. So the reason why I tell this story, right? People are like, what the fuck is this guy talking about cachapas, dog? The reason why I say this story is because in the same way, it's a metaphor, guys. It's a fucking metaphor. Cachapas is a metaphor because as a creator, if you own the whole production chain, right? Meaning you own the stuff that you're using to film yourself, right? You own your content, you own your image. You don't own a TV station, but you own all your content and everything you're doing it on your own. You own your production chain. That makes it so that you can have very low cost, provide entertainment cheap for the people, and provide it at a good quality, and always provide what you want, because nobody can tell you, if you don't do this, I'm not gonna fund you, or if you don't do this, I'm gonna cut funding, or I'm gonna cut, this or that. No, because you're the one that owns it. So that way, when I look at the podcasts that I listen to, or the channels that I listen to on YouTube, they're all channels that have people that do the things pretty much on their own. Maybe they might have person or two that helps them with their production, but it's pretty much their ideas, and that's it. And that's what you want. You want the real, honest fucking conversations. You want the real, honest view on things. You don't want something that a corporation is looking to sort of filter for you.
I agree, man. I agree. I think it's been a successful episode. Just talking about streaming platforms, talking about supply chains, talking about the future. Own your shit and put it out there, I think, is the message. Own it, put it out there, because it's going to be a wild, wild west here in a couple of years, I think, with everybody buying up everything. Content is king, and
I like that. Own it and put it out there, and then that way have to lie to no one but yourself. Try to tell anything else to our homies that listen out there, the Broskiedoodles.
Bro, look, we're the Broskiedoodles, but we think everybody is our Broskiedoodles. We love to hear from you guys. Put yourselves on the comment section below. Go ahead and just call us names. Tell us that we're doing great or bad, what you want to hear. We truly thank you for your listenership, your viewership, and we hope that you guys keep coming back. And
for real, we're not even gonna ask you to subscribe, because that's just some grimy shit. On the reels, listen to the channel for a few episodes, see if you like it, and then if you do, then you can decide if you want to continue to listen. But for the moment, if you like something and you want to comment, believe me, we'll reply, we'll engage. We want to know what people think, and we also want to know other topics that you might want to hear a bunch of fucking retarded motherfuckers talk about. So thank you for listening. Take care. Stevie D, bro,
we out.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Take care, homie.
Take care, guys. See ya.
Hey guys, thanks for stopping by the Broskiedoodles Podcast today. We hope you had a lot of fun listening to it. We had a lot of fun recording it. If you like what you heard, go ahead and smash that like button and hit us up on all of our social handles. Leave us a comment so we can talk to you online and figure out what else to talk about online. So, yeah.